restore public trust in law enforcement. These recommendations are due on October 30th, 2020. County Executive Alsobrooks has charged us with reviewing current police department policies covering the full spectrum of its operations. This includes, but is not limited to, such issues as hiring, training, and use of force policies. This work group agreed that the first step in this process should be to listen to our community. We want to identify the current policies that are of the most concern to the community and organize our work accordingly. Moving forward, smaller work groups will be defined after this evening's input. We are gratified by the responses we've received, and we thank everyone for their time and their thoughts on this very important matter. So thank you. Delegate Washington.
Thank you, Co-Chairman. Hello, everyone, and good evening. My name is Alonzo Washington, I am the co-chair of the Prince George's County Police Reform Work Group. I was raised here in Prince George's County, and I am a PGCPS alum and a University of Maryland graduate. I have been serving in the Maryland House of Delegates since 2012, representing District 22 here in Prince George's County. I'm grateful to our county executive, Angela Alsobrooks, for giving me this opportunity to serve as co-chair of this vital work group. Establishing meaningful law enforcement and public safety reforms are crucial to the success of our county. Working with my fellow co-chair, Judge Lamassney, and the distinguished members of the commission, we will work together to rethink and transform public safety in Prince George's County. Our work group is made up of committed public servants from a variety of different backgrounds. We have elected representatives, we have Prince George's County residents and officials, we have county employees, we have judges, we have the community, we have community advocates, folks from academia and law enforcement, all coming together to work on these vital issues. The charge of this commission is clear. We will dig deep into the full spectrum of the operations within the Prince George's County Police Department. We have assembled an excellent and well-prepared team to address these issues head on. I look forward to receiving input tonight from Prince George's residents to ensure our research and proposals are in the best interest of the people who live here. Your recommendations and suggestions will steer the work group in the direction it needs to go in order to successfully address these pressing issues. I must note that the county executive has recently released a Prince George's County Chief Selection Survey, and you should be able to find it on the Prince George's County website. Thank you. Now we'll introduce our members of the commission. So we have Dr. Askew, Mr. Orlando Barnes, Ms. Judith Danso, Ms. Florence Felix Lawson. We have Delegate Juanica Fisher from District 47. We have Ms. Lamette Gutierrez, Mr. Glenn Ivey, who's our former state's attorney here in Prince George's County. We have DCAO, Deputy DCAO Tara Jackson, Mr. Keith Lottridge. We have Professor Chris Marsh. We have Miss Josephine Morning. We have Mr. Archie O'Neill, Miss Crystal Oriata, Mr. Dwayne Preston, Miss Sonia Pruitt, Pastor James Robertson, and Mr. Joseph Ruddy. In addition, we have NAACP President Robert Ross, Mr. Bob Ross, and we have Council Member representing District 7, Rodney Streeter, and Mr. Donnell Turner on our list. So here are the rules for today, and here's how we're going to guide our listening session today. And this is truly a listening session, so there won't be any interactive back and forth between the commission members and the community. Our thought process is that we hear from you directly on what issues matter to you and your recommendations. So you'll have 90 seconds to say your recommendations, speak to the public, speak to this commission on where how we should move forward. And once we hit 30 seconds, we will give you a warning. And at the 90-second mark, we will then have to unfortunately cut you off. However, you can send in your recommendations to us, or the rest of your comments to us via email at police reform workgroup at co.pg.md.us. So what we'll do is we'll call up the first person, and the first person will have the ability, we'll give you 10 seconds to acknowledge yourself, and then the timer will start directly after that. So first, we'll call up our first speaker. Give me 1 second, I have it here. Our first speaker will be Abdul Green.
Delegate, I'm not seeing an Abdul Green in our.
Okay. We have the next person will be Andrea Benedetti. Okay.
I don't see that person either.
We'll move on to Alicia Mason. I know we want to hear from people. Okay, I'll move on to the next person. Ready, Ryan?
Yep.
Andrea raised her hand. I think Andrea, can we look back and see if Andrea is back on the list? Oh, yeah.
I do have an Andrea Williams, but she's in a
Fair enough. Okay, we have Almis Hader.
All right, Almis, I'm about to allow you to talk in 3, 2, 1. Almis, you're on.
Thank you. My name is Almas Heather. I'm a PG County resident, a resident of the DMV for the past 5 years, and currently a master's student at the University of Maryland. I'm testifying in support of reallocation of funding from police budget towards evidence-based social services proven to increase safety in communities, and particularly law enforcement presence on school campuses and in districts. There's absolutely no need for law enforcement, let alone in educational settings. And research has proven this, that it increases hostility in environments, and students are made to feel unsafe, criminalized, and more likely to be consumed by school to prison pipeline. Some of my recommendations are reallocating funding towards proven answers to underlying social issues that lead to perceived community safety related crimes. That includes mental health care and trauma-informed services, increasing services for formerly incarcerated residents, including housing, education, and job assistance, maintaining a permanent budget item for public housing repairs, increasing the availability of high-quality childcare, maintaining and increasing funding for vital nutrition and food access programs, suspending rent and mortgage payments until the COVID-19 crisis is over, and providing COVID-19 relief funding to all residents, including undocumented residents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll next have Amity Pope.
Not seeing Amity.
Okay, let me know when she comes back on.
Okay.
Can you check again to see if she's on the line? She called in. Maybe she's on a different line. Oh.
Amity, if you can hear us, please, and you called in from a phone number, please raise your hand.
Okay, we're gonna come back to Amity because I know she's on the line. But let's go with Miss Andrea Williams.
Okay, and Andrea, I'm about to let you speak in 3, 2, 1. Andrea? Andrea? Andrea?
Hello?
Yes. Yep,
I'm here,
we can hear
but
you.
okay, great. So thank you again for this opportunity. I really would like to see the following reforms in our police at PG County. One of the things is that I feel that it's real crucial is that, that all police be trained to include how to build community relationships, that we do need more people in the community that look like the police in the community to look like the community. I also would like to see some of the funding for police to go towards having social workers included in some of the calls, particularly domestic dispute calls, mental issue calls, because police are not really qualified to de-escalate the situation, because it's most of the time it's a mental issue, and therefore a person that knows how to deal with mental situations would be better served. I do believe that a police officer need to be present just in case something unfortunate happens. But I really feel that that's where some of the money needs to go. Racial relationships definitely need to be a part of the training that they receive, just so they understand their audience, because everybody receives things differently depending on their background. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. We'll call next Mr. Anthony Crenshaw.
Not seeing an Anthony Crenshaw.
Hey, Ryan, let's switch it up. Can we do it this way? I see the list of members on here. Can we go down the list of members on here? Since it seems like folks are already on here, let's just go with the members that are the residents that are on here that actually signed up. And let's go down that list. Is that okay?
That's fine, but as people sign on and they may come on, that list may change. So that list isn't just forewarning, that list isn't stable right there. So we may go down the list and run into somebody twice or so.
Okay. Let's go to Anthony J. Wilson.
I don't see an Anthony.
We have Aurelia Johnson.
Don't see an Aurelia Johnson.
We have Ashley Brown Greer.
Okay, Ashley, I'm about to allow you to speak in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Brown Greer. I'm a resident of Ward 1 in Hyattsville, and I also serve on the Race and Equity Committee for Hyattsville. My question is, and correct me if I'm wrong, what role does the quota system play in over-policing and in marginalized communities? And if the police really rely on those meeting arrest quotas or ticket quotas each month, how how, as that is a part of their revenue, what can you all do, or what strategies can you all come up with to help alleviate that, the quota system?
Ma'am, you have 40 seconds left.
Oh, okay. So yeah, just wondering what role the quota system plays in over policing marginalized communities, as that is the police's source of revenue, and yeah, I guess what strategy or what could we come up with to help in those situations?
Okay, ma'am, your time is up. We want to thank you for this, for your comments. Just to make it clear again to everybody who's hopping on the line a little later than the start time, we are not. This is not going to be a back and forth. We are listening to you and what you want to bring to us. We'll take your comments and your questions, and we'll notate that. And then as we go through the next 5 months of reviewing the standards of the Prince George's County Police Department and policies within the police department, we will consider those questions. So thank you for that. Mr. Middleton, we're going to go back to Amity Pope. I believe the number ends in 106.
Okay, Amity, I'm going to allow you to speak in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, well, my name is Amity Pope. I am in District 47A, Capitol Heights, and I am one of the proud co-founders of PG Changemakers, president of Our Prince George's. And while I stand in solidarity with these coalitions and others, I have definitely been moved by protests against police brutality across the nation, and recently outraged by reports of racial bias in Prince George's County Police Department that's resulted in the resignation of the former police chief. So based on the movement for Black Lives, incremental reforms such as adding new training requirements and pieces of equipment have not made us feel any safer. I'm calling for this work group to investigate and recommend transformative changes for and reductions to within the police department. In regards to the scope of work, I'd like to really see this work group look at budget, the hiring and firing processes of employees, civil and external oversight measures, transparent data collection, internal or standard operating procedures, role of police officers, and in particular, I would like for this work group to look at some of the following policy changes. Looking at using already existing resources. What?
10-second warning. Go ahead.
Already existing resources to create an unarmed division of mental health providers, counselors, and healthcare workers in the health department, as well as removing officers from county schools, instituting a transparent process for hiring the chief of police. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll have next Miss Ashley M.
Not seeing an Ashley M.
Did we already do Miss Brown Greer? Correct, right?
Yes.
Bonita Swan. Okay. We have Bernard Holloway.
Not seeing Bernard.
Let's go to Bernard Joseph.
Not seeing that Bernard either.
Burnett Reese.
All right, Burnett, in just a few seconds, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Hi, this is Bernetta Reese. I'm not sure if you can hear me because my volume was actually pretty low.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Yes, I'm a resident in Prince George's County, lifelong resident, born and raised here. My question, and I'm not sure that I need 40 seconds for this, but my question is, I'd like to know how many of our police officers currently reside here in the county versus those that may be coming from out of the county. And my concern is because I've seen this race elsewhere in other states that are also in the midst of doing police reform, is that, you know, the tax dollars and the money that we're putting into retirements and pensions, one, we want to make sure that's staying as much as possible within the county, as well as if we're looking to increase engagement and establish trust within our community, we want to know that there are folks here that know us, that have been here with us, going through the struggles with us for as long as we have, and then understand the issues that we have here. I think that would go a long way in terms of reform in this county and establishing trust with the residents here. So that's what I wanted to raise today. And I guess you're going to take that back. I appreciate that.
Thank you for that. We appreciate your comments. And next, we'll have Beverly John.
Not seeing a Beverly John.
We have Bill Orleans.
Okay, Bill, in 3, 2, 1. Bill, you have to unmute yourself. Bill,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Go right on ahead, Bill.
Hello, Alonzo, did you say? Well, when I registered to listen to this listening session, I believe I was asked a question that I question. Maybe, but I'm troubled, Alonzo, that this is only
Is Bill breaking up?
Yes.
Okay.
He's still unmuted. It might be a connection issue.
Bill, you're breaking. Bill, you're breaking up. We can't hear you.
question in real time and get an answer. And with that, I thank you very much. This, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes. Go ahead. You have 45 seconds left.
Well, to repeat what I said quickly, when I signed up, when I registered to listen to the listening session, I was given a question to respond to. Did I want to ask a question? And I said, yes, maybe, maybe not. I'm troubled, Alonzo, by the fact that this is a listening session in which people can make a statement. Group, people will be able to ask a question during those meetings and get an answer when they ask a question during those meetings. Alonzo?
Thank you, Mr. Orleans. Your time is up. We appreciate your comments. And we'll go to the next person, Mr. Byron Kittrell.
Okay, Byron, in just 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Byron. Byron, you have to unmute yourself. There we go.
Yes, good evening. My name is Byron Cottrell. And one thing we have to do in the beginning, we have to reform some of these brand new businesses open up around the county. And it's like these 24 hours of tobacco stores. You know, a long time ago, the district got rid of a lot of business that was opened up wrong, doing the wrong thing after hours, after 12 o'clock a.m. And you have a lot of crimes in that area. So if we don't do that, we still back to square one. We have to go back and look at all these business. And please, let's work together with that. And we have a lot of business in this area are doing the wrong thing. You know, like we want to reform the police, but you got a lot of business are not paying their proper taxes because they are not ringing up everything. A lot of business are selling single cigarettes. So we have to focus on our neighborhood first, then reform the police, then go back and make sure we put the right business in our neighborhood. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate that. I just wanted to remind folks who are on the call that dialed in to press *9 when you hear your name being called, just so we can acknowledge that you're on a call, because we cannot see your name on the list here. Next, we'll go to Calvin Charles.
Okay, Calvin, you'll be on in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon or good evening. Thank you for talking to me. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for taking this opportunity to speak to us in Prince George's County. I really appreciate it. I'll make it quick. As a 49-year citizen of Prince George's County, from school to school, graduating from Prince George's County public schools, being a PTA president. Also, I'm a law enforcement officer. I'm in the community. I appreciate our community. I hope that you all on this panel will go back and take some of the positives that Chief Stawinski did have Chief on the go, going out to meet the public and have the public come meet the police department. We need teachers inside our school. Need police officers inside our school, not only as a parent, but I was a PTA president. That builds relationships for young people to first meet the police departments. And then that will give all other students and young people the adventures to probably want to become a Prince George's County police officer or any police officer when they have positive influence. This also keeps the teachers, the staff safe when you have children that are running amok, hurting our teachers, not getting the right education, but also thinking that violence is okay. So please take all the positives that we have done in the community. I think we need to look at reforming the police as far as giving them additional training for de-escalations, more community programs that will bring it to neighborhoods that are not as fortunate, but to also bring them things that they do need so they have a better relationships with police officers, as well as our continued politicians that do go in the community, feed them, talk to them, and go to the schools. This way we can build our community from the ground up. But I think we need police officers in the school. I think we need reform, training, and then also watching the practices of how we hire and also terminate the officers that are not doing the right thing.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. That concludes your time. Thank you for those comments. Again, if you hear your name called and if you're on the call and you hear your name called, please press *9. Our next person we have up is Carla Cash.
You're not seeing Carla Cash.
Okay. We will go to Carla J. And if we can, I think.
Okay, Carla, going to you in 3, 2, 1. Carla, you have to unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. I kind of like to go back to the SROs in the schools. As far as the SROs being in the schools, they're not having a great relationship with the students that are in the schools. So I strongly believe that the SROs need to come out of the schools, and that the police within the community just need to go out in the community and become become known that way, because they're not really helping matters within the schools. I think that's something that needs to be considered under the police reform, you know, that it really needs to be considered that they need to come out and just more community engagement outside of the school level. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Next, we'll go to Chandra Johnson Thornton. Okay, next we'll go to Sharice Williams.
Not seeing a Sharice Williams.
Okay. We'll go to Sharnette Robinson.
Not seeing a Sharnette Robinson.
Go to Sharice Moquette. I think that's Chessie Moquette, excuse me.
Not seeing a Chessie Moquette.
Chuck Perry.
Okay, Chuck Perry, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Is my microphone unmuted now?
Yes, sir. You can start.
Okay, thank you. I want to take a direct swing at the police budget. Last year, for fiscal year 2019, I believe the Prince George's County Police Department budget was approximately $880 million, almost $1 billion. I think a major portion of that budget should be turned back into the community. I don't see the police as being an active part of the community. I believe that I see them as a force outside of the community. I've had many negative experiences with the police department, and actually am getting ready to file a complaint against some officers in the police for an incident that happened a few months ago. But in terms of the police budget, I believe that a major portion of that budget should go into the community, specifically the community colleges, and also health programs within the counties with the advent of COVID-19. Nearly $1 billion a year for the police budget is, in my opinion, outrageous. And I believe a lot of that money could be spent on the citizens and could be spent on lowering crime by actually giving people opportunity to become a part of the economic system. I have a serious problem with the police budget of almost $1 billion a year, and I think something should be seriously done to reduce that budget and have it go back to the actual people. I thank you for allowing me to speak.
Great timing. Perfect. Thank you for your comments. We'll go to the next speaker. Ryan, we have Miss, I think that's Thomas K.D. Smith. CMR Thomas K.D. Smith.
I found them. Thomas Smith, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Thomas Smith, you just muted yourself.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, my name is Thomas K.D. Smith. I thank you for the time today. I actually submitted a program. I'm representing the Fidelity Lodge number 20 of the Prince Hall Masons. We're located in Washington, D.C. However, about 85% of our membership lives here in Prince George's County, including myself. I submitted electronically a package which talked about restoring trust between law enforcement and communities of color. We put together that package because our organization includes both police officers, some political figures, as well as civilians and former military. It touches on four key points, one of which is just communication. We are noticing that the initial communication with law enforcement and civilians is heightened and escalated. And we looked at manners in which, and you'll see that in the writing. I know I can't get into the details here, but I'd be happy to speak with you about it later. But we get into the details about how we can mitigate conflicts from the initial meeting with police officers in the community. The second is the use of body cameras. We discuss how those can be used and should be used not at the disposal of the officer or the community to turn off, but that acts as evidence, both to support, excuse me, proper law enforcement procedures as well as bad ones. So we think that that supports and helps officers. It also reduces the ability for them to have to speak on each other and break the blue code. The third article is mitigation services. We understand that law enforcement is a tough job, and we just want to make sure.
Sir, that's the end of your comments. Thank you very much. And thank you for sending your work into us. And so we'll take a look at that as well. So thank you very much for your comments.
And we hope to hear from you. If we can assist you any way we can, please let us know.
Thank you very much. We have Colleen and Yuri Borowski. Excuse me for torturing your name. I apologize. Okay. Next, we'll have Cynthia Proctor.
Not seeing a Cynthia.
Okay, we have Daphne Bowie. I should know how to say that. Daphne Bowie.
Okay, Daphne Bowie, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Daphne Bowie. You have to mute yourself. Daphne Bowie.
Okay, we'll go to the next person. Daphne Powell.
Daphne Powell, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to make it quick as possible. I've sit here and I listened to a lot of the comments that's being commented and being stated, and we need to take this from a different approach. We don't need to look at Black Lives Matter, even though that's a reality, but we need to look at this as we have a serious problem in Prince George's County. I thank the county exec and everyone for this working group, but we have to look at the hiring practice, the training practice, and the forces and policies that's being implemented to a diverse group of people. I strongly would encourage you to look at the whole form of the police department. I would not take away the funds, but I would allow the funds to be distributed equally. I would consider bringing in social workers to work with the police department, have them go into communities and do a divide, just look at and do a scrub. And that is my opinion. I have sent some questions, and I think that we can make the use of this initiative to make Prince George's a better county and not look like rest of what United States is. And that's all I have to say. And thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate that. We'll go to the next person. Sign up to speak, Daryl Williams. We have Darwin Kemp next. Okay, we have Dave Grogan.
Dave Grogan, we're going to allow you to speak in 3, 2, 1.
Please accept my apologies. I'm actually listening in. I didn't know I was going to be called upon, but I'll certainly take this opportunity to be heard. Thank you all. Thank you, Delegate. Thank you, Mr. Middleton, and this entire panel. I pretty much, there's too much for me to cover within a short period of time, but I just want to say that I think this is a good opportunity for the community to be heard. I think that we definitely should take a close look at policing. I'm not 100% sure that I support any type of defunding without knowing where the funds are going. From my understanding, from my knowledge, a lot of police departments are actually underfunded. At least a lot of the local police departments are underfunded. So I don't have an opinion on that. But with that being said, again, I'm just listening in. I appreciate you all's time, and I will stay on top of this and offer any type of expertise that I may be able to offer coming from a career professional law enforcement officer.
Thank you for that. We have next Deborah Green. If not, we have a D-E-E. We have Dolores Furman.
Okay, Dolores Furman, we're going to allow you to speak in 3, 2, 1.
Unmute. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the reform work group. I just had, again, my name is Dolores Firm. I've been a resident since 1999. And my concern is going through this reform, as you putting together the strategic plan, that you look at training, additional training or increased training at the police academy level, as well as a required annual recertification when communicating and working with the special needs community, with children, youth, and adults, with the police department, and how to increase more partnerships in the community with the residents, as well as really taking an in-depth look at hiring training, but mostly training. My concern is with the special needs community. I also don't think we need to define, but I also think we should not take the resources out, but look at how to improve what the program we have in place, because there's always room for improvement. So those are my top concerns as we move forward this work group. Thanks again.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Dolores Taylor. If no Dolores Taylor, we have Donzel Robinson.
No Donzel Robinson.
No Donzel Robinson, we have Douglas Young.
Okay, Douglas Young, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Douglas Young. Douglas Young, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay. If not, we'll have Ebony Dumas.
Ebony Dumas, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, good evening and thank you for convening this session. My name is Ebony Dumas and I'm a resident of 20782. I wish I didn't need to speak today, but I'm sharing my story of a recent police interaction to shed light on the cavalier operating procedures of cops, which traumatizes individuals and communities. On the 4th of July, I was sitting outside in public space for a socially distant picnic with mostly Black friends and one white friend. Around 10 p.m., two friendly young Black adults, people we did not know and people who were not in our party, came to the area and lit a pair of silent sparklers. As they lit the second pair of silent sparklers, a PG cop car pulled up. The officer, a white male without any kind of face covering, got out of the car and yelled a question directed to everyone in the area. Who wants a fine and who wants to go to jail? The officer continued to approach us with one hand on his gun and a flashlight in the other hand. Additionally, no mask on his face. Who wants a fine and who wants to go to jail? Our hearts were racing as we froze and whispered to my 9-year-old nephew that everything is fine, which we all knew to be a lie. Fortunately, the one white person in our party stood up to intervene and converse with the officer to calm him down. While this 5-minute interaction ended with us not being physically harmed, we are all traumatized. I found myself afraid to leave my home and go for walks, which was once the favorite part of my day while working from home during the time of COVID. My 9-year-old nephew, who once loved police and his school security guard, is now terrified of police. As my group of friends are mostly from DC, this interaction ensured that they would never move to PG County or contribute to the fabric of our community. Reforms such as body cams and different training would not have stopped this trauma from happening. The only thing that would have stopped this was not having a badge and a gun, patrolling our streets, looking for kids lighting silent sparklers.
Ma'am, we have to cut you off. You can please send your comments to our email address. We would love to hear the rest of that story. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. We have to go to the next We have to go to the next speaker. Ryan, the next speaker is L. Laverne Spate.
Not seeing Ella Laverne Spate.
Okay. Next, we'll have Ellen Royce. Then Eric Douglas.
Eric Douglas, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. You can go.
Good evening. My name is Eric Douglas. I'm a lifelong resident of Prince George's County and a former law enforcement officer within this county. Just to direct some things directly for what the work group was put together for, one, the recruitment and hiring part. I'm just wondering if during the hiring phase, during the psychological portion, will there be a portion in there that is designed to identify anybody that has a racist attitude? Two, for the training purposes, will all the officers be trained to know that they are accountable when on the scene of any kind of incident, that they are also responsible for the other officers' actions while they are on the scene? And for the use of force policies, the policies I know are typically always reviewed or in compliance with the CALIA accreditation with our police department. So just to be sure that those policies are still reviewed and are within the purview of use of force nationwide. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have Eugene Poole. If not Eugene Poole, then we'll have Phil Nelson.
We had Eugene Poole on this call earlier, but I'm not seeing him now.
Okay. Phil Nelson and then Grace Collins.
Not seeing Faye Nelson. I do see Grace Collins. Grace Collins, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Grace Collins.
Ms. Grace, you there? Okay. We have then Heather Cronk.
Heather Cronk, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for the opportunity. Good evening. My name is Heather Cronk. I'm an 11-year resident of District 22 in Riverdale Park. I wanted to share today, I don't believe that incremental reforms such as adding new training requirements and pieces of equipment have made us any safer. I'm calling for this work group to investigate and recommend transformative changes for and reductions to the Prince George's County Police Department. One area I would like to see addressed through this work group is how to put a plan in place to reduce the size and scope of the county police department by shifting resources from policing to community services. The county government suffers from a lack of imagination in this regard. Imagine if any resident of the county or even visitors to the county could dial a short number, say 311, in order to request help for someone walking dangerously in an intersection, for a non-injury car accident, or for someone who is intoxicated. It is possible for the county to reassess how to create a safe community and who we're trying to keep safe. It is possible for the county to shift resources from a bloated police department to community services. It is possible for the county to lead the country in taking a harm reduction approach to public safety rather than a militarized and violent approach. This work group is an opportunity to think about what's possible rather than simply nibbling around the edges of reform. It is an opportunity to start from scratch rather than simply shifting some language here and there, then patting yourselves on the back. It is an opportunity to affirm that Black lives matter, that Indigenous lives matter, that trans lives matter, that disabled lives matter, that immigrant lives matter. It is an opportunity for Prince George's County to be a place of safety and welcome for all. I urge the work group to take that charge seriously and to take a first step by shrinking the size and scope of the Prince George's County Police Department. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll have next Ibrahim Aziz.
Ibrahim Aziz, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can start now.
Yes, my name is Ibrahim Aziz, a resident of Prince George's County, Upper Marlboro. I have several comments. I'll try to be brief. I would like to see the reallocation of resources, namely the $361 million from the general fund currently allocated to the police budget, while the Department of Family Services has a budget of $5.9 million and the Department of Social Services has a budget of $6 million. I also support the removal of SROs from our schools and the reallocation of that $5 million to seeing mental health professionals in our schools. I would also like to know what percentage of the police actually live in the county, and we can discuss later about the detrimental effects of people who don't live in the county policing the county. The percentage of calls the police department receives that are actually violent calls. When Pew Charitable Trust did a survey in San Francisco, only 5% of the police calls were actually violent calls. An introduction of a pilot program where mental health professionals are sent on nonviolent calls, such as homelessness, drug addiction, and domestic calls where no guns are present, as well as calls where mental health or special needs calls are needed. I would like to see both an internal and public addressing of police culture where police are taught to protect their own regardless of any wrongdoing, and a discontinuing of Prince George's County Police Department participating in the Defense Department 1033 program, which allows the purchase of military equipment. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to our next speaker, which is Jana Parker.
Jana Parker, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Jana Parker. I am a longtime, almost 30-year resident of Prince George's County. I have several suggestions for the police reform. First of all, make all complaints public and trackable in relation to what happens to them from the public to police, redistribute funds from police to school and mental health services throughout the county. Ensure that the Prince George's County Police Department do not take at any point any further any sort of military grade equipment. Training should emphasize de-escalation in all situations, specifically Those as it relates to mental health and special needs. Training should also include cultural competency. Lawsuits against the PGPD should be, and including the cost of legal services, should be the responsibility of the FOP. In relation to SROs, there's no data from PGCPS nor PGPD that shows that they, PGPD, or the presidents of police, stop crime substantially. But they are only a reactionary force that incarcerates our students greatly. There are national studies on the state and local level that many people on this call are very much aware of that show that police in schools increase the school to prison pipeline, reduce the budget for SROs and transfer the training. Hiring practices should prioritize residents of Prince George's County, and restrictions specific to financial regulations, such as a minimal credit score, should be removed for county residents. No contracts with the police should include any language that has LIBOR and any capacity. All body cam and dash video should be made immediately to the public at all times. More mental health services for police officers through the course of their training regularly, and police advisory review boards for any and all complaints should be predominantly citizens or civilians that are not retired or current police officers or part of law enforcement. I think I still have time left.
No, thank you for your time. We appreciate the comments. We're gonna go to the next person, Jeffrey Harrison.
Jeffrey Harrison, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Jeffrey Harrison.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. You can start. Thank you.
I'm Jeffrey Harrison. I live in Greenbelt. I'm a member of several coalitions in the county that advocate for police accountability. I submitted several comments to the task force. I'm going to focus on 2 right now. First of all, I hope this task force and the county executive will think big, transform the police department, dismantle the existing county public safety framework, and create an anti-racist, community-led, community-centered organization instead of what we have now. Hope the task force and the county executive can embrace that vision. And secondly, to put the police department on the path to where it needs to go, at a bare minimum, require the county police department to obtain national certification from CALEA, C-A-L-E-A, the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. A previous speaker said that the police department tries to follow their standards, but the county police department is not accredited by CALEA right now. The department does not meet CALEA's basic national standards for policies, procedures, and practices. Certification would force the police department to focus on meeting more than 400 standards for the policies, procedures, and practices in the industry. CALEA certification each year requires a compliance review and publication of annual police activity demographic reports. Every 3 years, a more thorough outside audit is conducted.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Your time is up. You can send your rest of your comments to our email address. Thank you for signing up today. We're going to go to our next speaker, which is Janelle Dabney.
Janelle Dabney, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Ms. Dabney, are you there?
I'm here. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Can you hear me okay?
You can start. Thank you.
Excellent. So first, good evening again, and thanks to this work group for hosting this listening session. I wanted to just share that I don't support defunding the police. I think the same, if not more, investment is required, just in different ways. I'd encourage this work group to start from scratch and really reimagine your department's model. I think we need a deep investment in creating a culture that supports police officers who may need to bring forward concerns from the inside out. Many times a toxic culture is pervasive and people who want to do the right thing just simply can't. I also would encourage you to really get outside the box and explore other agencies and other countries that are really just getting it right. For example, there's a lot of great work happening in Japan and Britain and Germany. And then finally, I think there should just be a really strong focus on culture and investing in people and policies that will attract and support a high caliber workforce that is engaged and can really add value to the county community, because we need law enforcement and they are a part of our community and they're an integral part of what makes our community effective. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I wish you well in your work.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments. We'll go to the next person, Johanna Goder. Okay, next we can go to Jonathan Medlock.
Not seeing Jonathan Medlock.
We have Joy Ellis.
Not seeing Joyce Ellis.
Okay, we have Julia Barnett.
Okay, Julia Barnett, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, hi, I'm Julia Barnett. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please start.
Okay. I had a few questions. What changes do you have for training initiatives for current and future police officers? I don't believe in defunding. I believe in reprogramming your funds to be used appropriately for mental health awareness, for initiatives to make awareness of racial biases and things of that nature, to interact more with the community. How will the police officers that are committing a crime against residents, how would they be held accountable? Will there be an extension of training? And will there be for new recruits? And will the police officers that are currently working, will they receive some extra training in reference to all the racial tension and things going on? And also, my main big thing was when you have female assailants and issues dealing with civilians, how will there be a female police officer there to assist instead of a man being there? Because there have been instances of females being assaulted by other male officers, groping them inappropriately, and those things need to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. Next, we'll go to Kay McGraw.
Not seeing Kay McGraw.
Okay, we'll go to Keisha Dennis.
Not seeing Keisha Dennis.
Okay, we'll go to Kevin Bolden.
Kevin Bolden, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, please start.
Okay, thank you all. First, my name is Kevin Bolden. I'm obviously a resident of PG County in Capitol Heights. Been in this region for almost 20 years now. I want to first applaud one of the previous speakers who came to the point of getting the certifications for the police department. I totally agree with that. It was one of my wife's and my points we wanted to make today. Those certifications will do well to help us meet the goals that we're trying to talk about here in this working group. Another one was to discuss kind of incentives for the police for, I guess for lack of a better term, life-saving initiatives, community involvement, things like that, those kind of things to kind of have initiatives for police doing the right thing, if you will. Because currently, I don't think we really do outside of the quotas, which don't really work and no one likes on top of that. But the big point we really wanted to get to were the certifications for the police department and making sure we have those in place. We are also avidly not in favor of having SROs in the schools. They do not help the situation, and having those funds reallocated to areas where we need them, like the school system themselves as well. Having classes for community involvement and community policing to help the police better get involved in the community. Those kind of things would help.
Thank you, Mr. Bolden. You can please send your rest of your comments to our email address. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you, folks.
No problem. We're going to go next to Larry McNeely.
Larry McNeely, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, can you hear me now? Okay. Larry McNeely from Greenbelt. I just want folks to know that however much they may be needed, new training, a new leadership, new culture doesn't change the core issue that when you have a hammer, everything is a nail. And PG County taxpayers about an $800 million hammer in our police department that falls on Black and brown citizens more than folks who look like me. We need transformative change, SROs out of schools, more funding for mental health and support for kids, alternative ways to respond to calls with social workers and mental health. And can we not run our police department like a counterinsurgency campaign? We don't need 1033 equipment, and we definitely don't need no-knock warrants. I support all the things that have been said about aligning what we do out of this committee with the movement for Black lives. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that, sir. We'll go to the next person, Mr. Leonard Gore.
Leonard Gore, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Leonard Gore.
Mr. Gore, are you there? Okay, we'll go to Leslie. That's all I have here. I think it's Leslie White or Witt. Okay, we'll go to Linda Green. Lorraine Neal.
Seeing Lorraine Neal.
You do or you don't?
Do not.
Okay. Lovie Cutler. Okay. Margaret Bowles. Boles.
Margaret Bowles, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Margaret Bowles.
Ms. Bowles, are you there?
You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, I thought I did. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, I think there ought to be a reallocation of funds from the police department to mental health workers that will be working to de-escalate interactions with the police and help train the police in working with the community. I do think very strongly that we ought to use the principles of Black Lives Matter. We cannot be killing the residents of the county, including those who need special needs. Also, arrest should not be the first option if a person is alcohol or drug dependent. There are ways to deal with that situation medically, and arrest isn't one of them. SROs should be replaced with more trauma-informed mental health professionals. That is what our children need. especially the ones that are in middle school and high school. Thank you for having this session. I appreciate greatly what you're doing, even though you're having technical difficulties. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for acknowledging our shortcomings. I'm joking. Next, we'll have Mary Mancho.
No, Mary Mancho.
Mary Walton.
Mary Walton, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. My question centered around having an organized plan, and what plan are you going to base the work, the police reform on? There's some plans, I'm sure, in place that I believe you all could go and talk with the people, because Breonna Taylor's case is still open. They have not arrested those police officers, and I really don't understand that. So our students in middle school and high school need to see justice evolving, not justice going back. So I'm hoping that the police reform work group will actually be a police reform work group. That's all I have to say right now.
Thank you, Ms. Walton. We appreciate that. Next, we'll have Ms. Maxine Williams.
Delegate Washington, I believe we have Leonard Gore here ready to go. So I'm just gonna go back.
Who's this person? Who's
Leonard Gore? He was a few people. He was a few individuals ago.
Yep. Okay. Sure. Leonard Gore. Is he on?
Hold on 1 second. Leonard Gore, I'm coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Leonard Gore.
Hello, am I clear?
Yes, you
Am I
are.
clear?
You can start, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I am clear.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I just and I really appreciate this opportunity to Councilman Streeter and his office. What I would like to share is in the police reform, I would highly recommend that graduates and future graduates of Citizen Police Academy be used as community service resource. They can act as liaisons and serve as a natural bridge between the police and local residents. In addition, they could work along with social workers in making sure their efforts are accounted for in event. Event funding is increased for more service to the community. I share this as a graduate of a Citizen Police Academy myself. They are very informative and culturally rewarding. I think it's something that we can really use in this effort, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Next, we'll have Maxine Williams.
Not seeing Maxine Williams.
Okay. Next, we'll have Michael L. Johnson, Sr. Next, we'll have Michael Leventhal.
Michael Leventhal, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You can start.
I think it's impossible to train anybody in the thousands of things that we ask the average police officer to do today. I think the police should do crime. I think we need to create additional forces that don't have guns, deal with traffic, and deal with disabilities, and deal with public drunkenness, drugs, whatever. But we need to be able to separate the various aspects of what we ask the police to do now to different things. The other thing that I think is important is that I would like to know from the average line officer what they would like to give up so that we know where we're starting from, how to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments. And we'll go next to Michelle Reddick. Or Reddick. If not, we have Mr. Kelly. That's all I have on here is Mr. Kelly. If no Mr. Kelly, we have Mrs. Lorraine McGill.
No Lorraine McGill.
Okay. Miss Siobhan Thompson. Miss Naomi Stewart.
Naomi Stewart, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, good evening. I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity, and I would like to just put my points out there to strengthen the de-escalation tactics used by the police force. I know that not all situations require the heightened level of tension and stress that are faced by both the police and civilians. And I think that that should be taken into consideration when having interactions with the police. I would also like to emphasize the necessity of empathy on the behalf of the police force so that people can, find a way to help deal with situations instead of creating new ones or simply punishing people just for what, they happen to be going through at that moment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll have Ms. Nicole.
She can read her first. No, what?
Ms. Nicole?
Not seeing.
We have Nicole D. Lawrence.
Nicole Lawrence, we're coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You can
Oh,
start.
sorry. Hi, I wasn't expecting to be called, but thank you very much. I am a new resident of PG County, and I would strongly encourage this reform committee to consider the following things. Increasing your training and number of crisis intervention officers who are trained to address and deal with behavioral health issues such as mental health and or substance use disorders. Require standardized training for your law enforcement officers. They have to endure a lot, and their mental health suffers, and it affects how they interact with the public. I highly encourage you to increase their training in the academy and afterwards, and to put an emphasis on community engagement and de-escalation. There needs to be transparency in the complaints process with regard to police officers. Please consider making sure that it is a process that is understood and known by the community, that involves providing information on the investigation, the outcome, what the internal investigation was, and what they can expect. Also consider supervision of the officers, and also consider looking at licensing and or malpractice or liability insurance for the police officers who know, especially in cases where they're knowingly doing things that are not in the best interest of the public and keeping them safe. And also please take the SROs out of schools and increase mental health funding. Thank you.
That was actually perfect timing. Thank you for that. We'll next go to Pamela Leftritt. We also have Pamela Johnson.
Pamela Johnson, coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Pamela Johnson.
Okay, if we don't hear from Ms. Johnson, then we have Patricia Finn. If not Patricia Finn, we have Paul Jones. If no Paul Jones, then we have Penny Colbert. Or Colbert. Next, we'll have Peter J. Bletchinger. Next, we'll have Philip Franklin. Next, we'll have Rashad Lloyd. Next, we'll have Renee Deming. Next, we'll have Reverend Richardson. Next, we'll have Richard A. Walsh. Next, we'll have Robert W. Scott. Next, we'll have Ronald Kutchenber.
Ronald Kutchenber coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Kutchenber, are you there?
Ronald Kutchenber, you have to unmute yourself. Ronald Kutchenber.
Okay, next we'll have Shamika Stanford. No, Miss Stanford. We'll have Sheila Bryant. Next, we'll have Cherie Boyd.
Cherie Boyd coming to you in 3, 2, 1. Cherie Boyd.
Okay. Shirley A. Walton. Sue Livera. Next, we'll have Tamara Davis Brown. Okay, no Miss Brown. We'll have Teens for Justice.
Teens for Justice coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Madison, and I am part of the Teens for Justice. Hi, my name is Andrea. I'm 13 years old, and I'm a member of Teens for Justice. Hi, I'm Janaya. I'm 15 years old, and I'm also a member of Teens for Justice, and these are our demands. We want citizens hired to work alongside the police unit and every unit, like training in the internal affairs unit. And we want all police use of force complaints to be open to the public. We want officers to be in PG County and live in PG County. We want the use of force policy to be changed so police can no longer kill unarmed people. We want police out of our schools. And we want justice for Archie Elliott. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you all. Thank you for your comments. Really appreciate it. Next, we'll have Tiffany Bolden. want to thank everybody on the call for being patient with us. I want to thank the members for staying on the call still. No Tiffany Bolden. We'll take Troy Chestnut. I do want to remind everybody that the county executive sent out her chief selection survey. You can find it on her website, and please fill it out. We have next V. Brock.
V. Brock coming to you in 3, 2, 1. V. Brock.
Okay. Did I hear something? No.
No.
Okay. We'll go to.
Wait. Delegate, here we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm a former veteran of the PGPD. I served for 34 years, and I have 3 things. I wonder if officers who complained about police brutality and other issues and present officers couldn't be put on the task force. I also believe that community-oriented policing was alleviated by the past chief, and that it should be reinstated. And the group DARE and GREAT, which was taught in the school system and not school resource officers, was more effective and had a more positive impact upon our students and our citizens who will be our future in Prince George's County. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we'll have.
Delegate, we have Cherie Boyd, who has made note that she is available. We want to go back to Cherie Boyd.
Sure. Let's go to Ms. Boyd.
Cherie Boyd, we are coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Ms. Boyd.
Okay, there it goes. The sign just appeared. The unmute, so I'm unmuted.
There you go.
Okay, thank you so much. First, I'd like to thank everyone. Let's see, let's close this, my chat. So I'd like to thank everyone that was the ones involved in organizing this reform, working group reform. So I had so much data, I put it in my chat. So now I'm gonna have to think off the top of my head. But this is well needed in PG County. I've been a resident for the last 35 years, I believe, at PG County, and I've experienced a lot of pros and a lot of cons. Not all bad things, but some are bad and some are good when interacting with the police. I don't look at the police as bad individuals, but I am more cautious when interacting and when dealing with them because of things that I've experienced. My recommendation would be at this time, because we can't cover everything that I've experienced and what I can, what I can share on just one forum, one discussion. But I have a few recommendations, and they would be such as that each and every police officer receive annual community relations training, how to interact and deal with the community. Police officers, more so versus, being called and coming out when there's a challenge or there's an issue or a call being placed, for them to come out and maybe organize with the communities, walk the beat, as they would call it, walk the communities, interact with the people, get to know the people, build a better relationship. Not always thinking negative when they are called out.
Ms. Boyd, thank you for your comments. We're gonna.
There was other dealing with mental illness, substance use when interacting with. Okay.
So you can email it to us, and
okay,
we'll take your comments there.
Okay.
Thank you so much for.
And I provided some in the chat, so thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll go to Tiffany. No, we're at Van Rawls, RAWLS.
Don't see a Van Rawls.
Okay, Vanessa Tyson McNair. Okay, we have our last person signed up, William Taylor.
Okay, William Taylor, I think I see your phone number here with the last two digits, 203, coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Yes, my name is William Taylor, and I'm the president of the Coalition for Public Safety Training in Schools. I want to thank the task force and all of the members on it for putting this on for the community. I would also ask that we look into youth development centered around public safety, not only with the police department, but with other agencies also, but police and fire department in particular, because we're trying to create public safety employees and young people to choose public safety careers and put them on the career path. So I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I have already sent in some information to be looked at and to be acted upon, at least look at it, so that we can get our young and our youth, future Prince George's County, the next wave of home buyers also to invest in Prince George's County. Thank you, and everyone have a good evening.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your comments. Ryan, I've called everyone at the end of my list. That was the last one. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the speakers. Judge Maureen Lemasney, do you want to, Madam Co-Chair, do you want to say some closing remarks?
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who participated. I thought we had some extremely thoughtful as well as thought-provoking comments, and they gave us a lot to work with. So I think that's great. And thank you.
Yeah, I also want to just thank our members on the work group for being here the entire time and staying on and listening to all of our speakers today. We had signed up over 105 folks, and we really appreciate everyone for their time and giving us their feedback. Again, we're going to take those thoughts and those concerns that you relate to us, and we're going to use those to guide our thoughts and our policy and our recommendations as we move forward and as we start to evaluate the Prince George's County Police Department and public safety throughout our county. With that said, thank you everybody for being here on behalf of the county executive and the members of this work group. And please stay safe at home, stay home, wear a mask, and stay socially distant. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can we all stay on just to debrief real quick?
Sure. We're early.
Yeah, we are really early. Ryan, you there? Ms. Charmaine?
I'm here. I'm just trying to take care of everything else.
Got it. Fair enough.
Here, delegate.
Okay, great. Just want to know if we're still live and I'm talking.